If you've been in an accident in Tennessee, obtaining your accident report is crucial for your insurance claims and legal proceedings. But where do you start? We've got you covered. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to unpack exactly how you can secure that all-important accident report without getting totally lost in the state bureaucracy. Okay, let's dive right into this. Look, if you've just had a crash, dealing with the vehicle damage or, injuries is stressful enough on its own. But your problems might just be beginning if you miss a critical administrative deadline or kind of misunderstand the state's pretty complex reporting rules. So this explainer is designed to be your comprehensive, step-by-step guide to getting the exact documentation you need right when you need it. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll quickly cover 1. Why you need a report. 2. Officer versus driver reports. 3. The 3 retrieval methods. 4. Navigating local agency rules. 5. Privacy and troubleshooting. And finally, 6. Final tips and a disclaimer. Section 1. Why you need a report, and the high stakes of failing to get one. So, a police report is your official record, right? It gives this objective view of the whole collision. The key sections you'll see include the parties involved, insurance info, and specific statutory data points, like whether physical barriers were present at the scene. You really need to understand these sections to verify your account with your insurance company and to back up any personal injury claims. But honestly, even more importantly, ignoring your administrative duties after a crash can literally cost you your ability to legally drive. That's right, under Tennessee law, failing to file a required accident report can actually result in the suspension of both your driver's license and your vehicle registration. No way around it. Now, there is a magic number you need to keep in mind, and that number is 20. That is the exact amount of days you have to file a mandatory report after a qualifying accident. According to the Tennessee Financial Responsibility Law, if an accident results in injury, death, or property damage exceeding $1,500 to any single party, or just $400 to government property, you have exactly 20 days to file your documentation with the Department of Safety and Homeland Security. The clock is absolutely ticking. Moving right along to Section 2, Officer versus Driver Crash Reports. Let's break down these two very different types of documents. Now, this is a distinction that trips up a lot of people, so pay attention. An officer crash report is generated by the responding police officer right there at the scene. It includes their official assessment. But there's also the owner/driver report, which is officially known as Form SF-0395. This one is self-submitted. And here's the kicker. Even if an officer investigates the scene and writes their own report, you're still legally required to file this owner/driver report within those 20 days if the damage thresholds we just talked about are met. You just fill out the physical form, make a copy for your own records, and mail it to the Financial Responsibility Division in Nashville. And a huge tip here, send only the form. No photos, no insurance cards, because honestly, they will literally be shredded. All right, Section 3, requesting online, in person, or by mail. So if your crash was investigated by the Tennessee Highway Patrol, the THP, or if your local agency has already forwarded their records to the state, you basically have 3 main avenues of retrieval to choose from. Which one you pick is really going to depend on your timeline, your budget, and honestly just how you prefer to pay. The Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security acts as the big central administrative hub for most crash records in the state. Basically, they manage the primary database where all of these records eventually end up. If you want the absolute fastest route, you're going to want to hit up the online state portal at purchasetnccrash.gov. You can run a search and get an immediate PDF download right then and there. The cost for this is $10. You're going to need the date of the crash, the driver's last name, driver's license number, and a secondary identifier, so something like a VIN or a license plate number. But listen up. Here's a massive troubleshooting tip. Prepaid credit cards are strictly prohibited on this platform. You absolutely must use a standard Visa, MasterCard, Discover, or American Express. No exceptions. Now, if you aren't in a huge rush, you can actually save a few bucks. Making a physical visit to a THP district office or just mailing a request costs only $4. For an in-person visit, reports are generally available about 7 business days after the crash, and you can pay with cash, check, or a money order. For a mail-in request, though, you'll need to fill out Form SF-1595 and mail it in with a cashier's check, money order, or a personal check. Just a heads up, absolutely no cash through the mail. And keep in mind, that route is going to take about 2 to 3 weeks to fully process. Next up is Section 4, Navigating Local Agency Rules. Because, every local department has its own little quirks.
Okay, so for accidents handled by local police, like the Chattanooga Police Department, for example, you are going to face an entirely different set of administrative rules. The thing is, while local reports do eventually go to that big state database we talked about, there is usually an administrative delay of up to 60 days. Yeah, 2 whole months. So if you need your report immediately, you have to bypass the state and request it directly from that local agency's records division.
It's pretty wild to see the variation across the state. In Memphis, they charge 15 cents a page for residents, but hit you with a flat $15 fee if you're a non-resident, and they strictly reject personal checks. Over in Knoxville, also 15 cents a page, but they absolutely refuse credit or debit cards for in-person transactions. It's cash, check, or money order only. Meanwhile, in Nashville, if you just email a public records request and it takes them less than an hour of labor to compile it, they will literally email the report back to you completely free of charge. The takeaway here? Always double check your local agency's specific rules before you make the trip. All right, moving right into Section 5, privacy rules and troubleshooting. Let's talk about common issues and who actually gets to see your data. So, to protect your identity under both state and federal law, the general public cannot just pull up your personal data. If someone randomly pulls your report, they're going to get a heavily censored copy. Unredacted reports, the ones showing your home address, phone numbers, exact date of birth, the whole shebang, are strictly restricted to what they call authorized requesters. This basically means you have to formally certify that you are a driver, a passenger, or a property owner involved in the crash, or that you're their licensed attorney or insurance agent. And the penalty for violating these privacy laws? It is severe. If you misrepresent who you are just to get unredacted personal data, or if a business uses crash report data for prohibited commercial solicitation, it's treated as a Class B misdemeanor. That carries a mandatory statutory fine of exactly $2,500 per occurrence. On top of that, victims whose data is actually compromised can turn around and sue for actual damages, plus an additional $2,500 civil penalty. So yeah, they take this very seriously. Now, if you run into issues, keep these common pitfalls and troubleshooting solutions in mind. First off, if you buy your report online at purchasetncrash.gov, your digital download link expires in exactly 48 hours. If you forget to save it, you literally have to call technical support at 1-866-468-4587 during business hours just to reactivate it. Second, don't forget those strict local payment rules we discussed. No cards in Knoxville, no personal checks in Memphis. And third, if you're an out-of-state driver retrieving a report in Memphis in person, make sure you bring that $15 flat fee with you. Finally, we arrive at Section 6, final tips and disclaimer so you can fully protect your rights. Just remember, navigating government bureaucracy is tricky at the best of times, and police reports don't always exclusively determine faults. At the end of the day, they are just the responding officer's evaluation. The information provided in this explainer is just general guidance based on Tennessee administrative procedures. It is definitely not legal advice. Don't hesitate to consult a legal or insurance professional for your specific circumstances, especially if you've suffered injuries or major property damage. Hopefully, this explainer has really empowered you to protect your rights, meet those tight 20-day deadlines, and secure your personal data. But I want to leave you with this. Ask yourself, if the unexpected happened on your commute tomorrow, are you truly prepared to navigate the red tape, or will a simple administrative error end up costing you your license?